It's good to be back in my office. What? With Smith? Why are you sleeping on my office couch?
I'm hungover.
From a party last night?
No, from filming the movie Hancock.
Hancock? That was 5 years ago. How are you hungover? They don't give real alcohol on film sets.
That's right, Fred. They don't give you real alcohol, but I am hungover.
For 5 years?
I don't know, Fred. I'm not a calendar.
I'm sorry, Will. Did you want something?
I want to make a father-son movie.
Why do you need me? You're Will Smith. You have, like, billions of dollars.
I'm hungover!
Fine, we'll do it.
Okay, good. Now, who are we going to get to play my son?
What? Why don't we get one of your sons?
My sons? You mean Jaden or Willow? I'm pretty sure they're both girls.
What about your other son?
Oh, shit. Did I get my wife pregnant again? Where's the little guy? Come on out here and I'll give you a name.
No, Will. Your older son, Trey. You had him in the early 90s?
Oh, right. Yeah. Anyway, about the movie?
I don't know what you want.
Nothing. I'll do it all myself.
Fine, then leave.
I will. Hancock away!
Hancock isn't real, and you can't fly.
Whatever. I'll just use this door.
Wait, you forgot your picture of Bear Grylls. On his face you wrote the words, After Earth.
They irritate the irritated, flex perplexities, poise puzzles, magnify mysteries, impose inquiries, and coagulate quandaries. But more importantly, they ask one question.
Why would you make this?
All right, hello everyone. Welcome and thank you for listening. This is Why Would You Make This? The only podcast to suddenly remember it's a thing and then scramble to ask, can anyone be on the show? No? Oops. Why won't Hollywood hire me? I have talents. It's not like me and my parents fight about how I don't have a real job every single night with the most asked question being, why would you make this? I am Jimmy Time. I'm joined by my co-host, Danny Money. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Just say yourself.
Doing pretty well, except for the terrible fighting. That doesn't happen because it's acting. It was all acting. Unlike this film, which had, I thought, zero acting in it.
Yeah. Zero acting and the same facial expression throughout the whole movie.
Every scene was, Jaden, do you know what's happening? Cut to scare Jaden. No. Cut back to the character. This. Cut to Jaden with no emotion at all. The same face. That wasn't scared. That's just how he looks. Dun dun. Oh, yeah, no, okay. All right, so yes, we watched After Earth, which is the sci-fi action adventure about a father and son who crash land on Earth 1,000 years since abandoned by humans. With dad injured, the son must signal for help alone. It premiered May 1st, 2013 in Japan and was released in theaters until Bangladesh got it in November 22nd, 2013. Yay. So, of course, this film was lost in translation. A lot of places did call it After Earth. I said, you looked it up, and it was just after. I was like, oh, all right, fine. But the working title for this film was 1000 AE. I guess 1000 After Earth, 1,000 years after Earth. And that's probably why a lot of places call, like Poland called it 1,000 years after Earth, and Romania called it 1,000 after Earth. It's,
You know what the funny thing is? Is that throughout the whole movie, I never once questioned how long it was that they were away from Earth. I guess that part of it never really... It never crossed my mind to care about it.
I'm pretty sure they say it like once, maybe twice in the film. So it's not like it's a mystery, but
right.
you just didn't care. You're like, whatever. 1,000 years, one day. Sure, good enough. Which I already, we're not even into the film yet, and I want to say that we're already up to the point where it's drawing allusions from, this isn't really a Scientology movie, but it's already drawing allusions from the last Scientology movies we saw, Battlefield Earth, where, really, it's 1,000 years since Earth? Because it seems like 2 days.
Right,
There's pristine chrome, unrusted metal, and
that's funny that you mentioned that, because when I was watching this, I was like, I feel like this is like some sort of Scientology movie. And especially when I saw that it was a story by Will Smith, I was like, oh yeah, this had to be like a full-blown, like, supposed to be a Scientology's like wet dream movie kind of.
We'll get to that when we get that in the Why Would You Make This? Because that's when it's really covered. But yeah, 100%. That's how I felt too. We also have Russia, which called the film After Our Era. Which, okay, sure, I guess. Ukraine called it Earth After Our Era. Then we have, following the same line of titles, we have Bulgaria, Croatia, Lithuania, and Turkey all called it The Earth, New Beginning, or New Start, or A New Start, or semantics, really. Israel and Japan, I could not translate. They have titles. I don't know if it's After Earth. I don't know if it's something else. They just wouldn't translate. Vietnam called it Return to Earth. Makes sense.
Yeah,
sure,
it makes a lot more sense, yeah.
Estonia called it After the End of the World. But the end of the world was one phrase, so I'm wondering if that could also be apocalypse, which would be a cool title after the apocalypse almost, And India, it just has to be. It has to be incorrect. There's no way the actual title of the film is called Danger Graham. I typed it in.
That'd be interesting if it was named Danger Graham.
And I typed it in, and that's the word. What is it? Tamili or Tamili? Yeah, Tamili. In India, it's Graham, 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 which is a last name, like Alexander Graham Bell, or like. So that's what they translated it from. Tamil. It was like, yeah, no, there's no translation. That's a name. There's no translation.
That's funny.
I was like, okay. Danger Graham. It doesn't even make sense if it's like, knock, 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 Danger Graham, like telegram. Like,
right, exactly.
It still doesn't make any sense. But there's no way that would explain why it made what it made, Mr. Money.
I guess first let's start off with the budget.
Okay.
It was estimated between $130 million to $135 million, the budget.
Yes.
Which I could kind of see that with some of the stuff that they did and some of the graphics.
This movie is 99% CGI.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Oh, man.
Definitely CGI. Mm-hmm. As far as the domestic, it made approximately $60.5 million. Internationally is where it made its majority of the money of $183.3 million.
Damn. Yeah, that's 75% of its money it made, apparently, I have here, yeah.
Yeah. So somehow, surprisingly, altogether, it made $243.8 million. And back in 2013, the average ticket price was $8.38. So an average of about 29 million people actually want to go see this movie.
That's out of control.
It really is, because it's a very disappointing film. There's really nothing much that goes on, and nothing is learned besides Will Smith acts like a dick for about an hour and a half.
I think we were 15 minutes into the film, and I was like, I don't like any character in this movie.
Exactly.
I hate everybody.
I don't think you're meant to like anybody, because then they introduce Jaden as he's like, oh, I want to impress my father because my sister died.
Yeah, he's like a military brat almost. Yeah.
But it's to a point where it's just it's shoved in your face a little too much.
Yeah, It's heavy-handed a little bit.
Yeah.
But before we get too far away from the budget, there's something that I looked up which I want to say, because we said that we had a budget of $130 million.
Right.
It made $243 million.
Right.
But apparently it also spent an estimated $100 million just on marketing.
Oh, I believe that.
So this film apparently only made about $13 million. That's, oh my God. That's a shot in the gut there.
It is. It's terrible.
That's so bad. So, yeah, let's get away from this awful, awful news and go to the best hour, our favorite hour, the Troy McClure hour. Oh, shit, I didn't write one. Okay. Well, I didn't write one. Oh, well, moving on. I was writing the script, and I went, I'm missing something. I don't know what it is. Oh, well. That's what it was. I forgot the Troy McClure hour. Whatever. I've had a headache for the past 2 days. So, that's what I'm blaming it on. Jaden, look, you know what? I'll also blame it on the fact that this movie is so bad with acting that even Troy McClure wouldn't have been in it. Not even Troy McClure's acting skill is, beneath this film. So anyway, Jaden Smith plays Katai Rage. You recognize him as Christopher in the 2006 film The Pursuit of Happiness. Dre Parker in the 2010 The Karate Kid. And most recently, Marcus Dizzy Kipling in the Netflix original The Get Down. Will Smith plays Cypher Rage. You recognize him as Mike Lowry in the 1995 The Bad Boys franchise. Bad Boys franchise. I don't think it's the... Agent J in the 1997 Men in Black franchise. Sorry, I wanted to go back for a second. I just remember. They're making more Bad Boys,
Yeah, they're making a third
4
one.
and 5.
Are they?
They're making Bad Boys 4, and then I don't know if IMDb is just listed wrong, but it was listed Bad Boys 4, I'm pretty sure. And then also they're making a Bad Boys for Life. So I don't know if they just missed it. Maybe Bad Boys for Life is number 4. And
right.
But
still, why?
Dude.
Why?
It's amazing. Most recently, he played Howard in the 2016 Collateral Beauty. This is where it gets a little weird because IMDb says that, like, when you click on the page, it's like starring Jaden Smith, this guy, David Denman, and then Will Smith. But when you go to the casting credits, David Denman is the last character listed before it goes into the extras. Like, he is...
Oh.
On top of that, David Denman, he's the guy with the one leg who's like, stand me up, I want to salute him. So, like...
he only had, like, a 10-second scene in that.
Like, if I had to, like... Outside of the wife and the sister, who
right.
would obviously be more focused in the story to be stars, I would say the Ursa guards would be the star then, before the one-legged,
Exactly. They probably just did it because it was like, you know what? Without him, the ending doesn't make sense.
No. Yeah, that's why. They wrote it backwards. They're like, oh, we forgot the leg thing.
Hey, it's an M. Night movie. That was his big twist.
That was the twist. That's what I'm saying. There was no twist at the end. I was like, that's the whole gimmick. Where's the twist? Like, he must have stopped that, like, in 2003. And I never picked up on it. So, yeah, not David Denman. Instead, Sophie Okonedo plays Fire Rage. You'll recognize her as Sithandra in the 2005 Aeon Flux, the Watashi Princess in the 1997 Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, and most recently Queen Margaret in 3 episodes of the BBC original The Hollow Crown. I mention that because it's a BBC show, so there's like 4 it's like
oh yeah, like Sherlock.
Yeah, that's it. They have 4 episodes. That's the whole season. I think it was season 1 was in 2007. Season 2 was last year. Like, it's just like, oh my god!
So just like Sherlock.
Yeah, like how do you maintain a show with that schedule?
Seriously.
So yeah, you could see the full cast and crew and try to make sense of that mishmash, who's starring by going to imdb.com. So you want to start the film?
Sure.
All right, let's start the film. So, credits are cut over what sounds like a ship being blown apart, and a dying Jaden Smith tells us about Earth. Humans destroyed it, and they had to evacuate, and were led by the Global United Ranger Corp to a new planet, but on the planet, I guess, were also other aliens who then released these monsters known as Ursas, which were apparently bred to kill humans, and can only see the humans' fear pheromones. Luckily, Cypher Rage has become the first ghost, someone who can walk without fear, being completely invisible to Ursas. I'm already like, what are you talking about?
Right.
That's the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life.
I actually had to rewind it, because, like, their mention of, like, oh yeah, there was aliens was just so, like, softly mentioned and softly, like, put over, like, yeah, there was aliens, that's normal, right? Let's get into the next point of the story.
They never bring those guys up again.
Exactly. That I literally had to go back and was like, wait. Where are these other guys coming from? And then when they mentioned the aliens, I was like, oh, okay. That makes slightly sense.
Because I had to go back, because the story is humans ruined Earth, had to leave, found a new planet, aliens.
Right.
With monsters that were bred to kill humans. And I'm like, So those aliens kicked them off of Earth. Rewind. No, they just left because it was bad. Oh, okay. Then they got to a new planet, yeah. And then the aliens there, okay, I'm with you, had monsters, totally acceptable, that were bred to hunt the new creatures that just arrived from their planet. How? How do they... How?
Exactly. And like what you were saying just now, like I literally thought at first the story was they left Earth because they fucked it up, and then they returned back to Earth several years later. And then that's when I rewinded and realized I was like, oh, no, wait, it's a new planet completely. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Because everything's just so glossed over. It's like, yeah, here's this. And then, oh, wait, yeah, this happened. And oh, wait, oh, yeah, this happened as a result of everything.
Oh, man. I'm not, like, it's really bad when you tell me the history of your movie and I go, no, that's not true.
Exactly.
The history of your story is false. So you could do whatever you want, but I'm not believing this. So we go into an office of some kind, and Katai is not being given the rank of ranger. And Katai's like, no, my father's coming home today. I need to be reassessed. This is, it's very important for my family. And he's like, oh well, tell your dad hi. Which I was like, man, spit in that kid's face harder. Come on.
It's true. He didn't have to call him into like the office and be like, yeah, no, this isn't happening. He could have just been like, no, we're not going to review this.
I'm hoping it was graduation and it wasn't just like, yeah, come in here. You suck. Get out. Like, it wasn't like just a random... But it was still awful the way he was like, yeah, I'll tell your dad I said hi. Like, it's just like what, you fuck my dad? Like, don't... don't say that. So, we go to the... What's their... Rage. Their last name's Rage. So we go to the Rage home. Cypher, he arrives. He greets his wife. Everybody has dinner. Katai does not at all want to talk about how he was not advanced to the Ranger Corps. But Cypher is way more focused on, like, his, did you ask for permission? Look at where we look when we talk, say yes, sir, and stuff like that. And he's like, I'm leaving. And he's like, deny, no, sit down. And then, so it's like, oh, geez, what a fucking...
How long has he been to war?
I don't...
And I guess we kind of glossed over, too, that they referenced that the only way that they can beat the Ursas was that his father, Cypher, learned how to be Ghost.
Yeah, he's the first. That needs to be. He was the first Ghost, and he figured it out one day.
Yeah.
Before that, so again, the timeline question: how long have they been on this new planet?
Exactly.
Because how did they not get completely slaughtered by the Ursas already?
Right.
Based on what we see, it's just no. You keep telling me stuff about your own history that I go, that doesn't make any sense.
But my whole thing is, at one point, do you decide, you know what? I want to be a ghost, therefore I can't give a shit about anything.
Yeah, that's the one thing, is being a ghost doesn't seem to be walking without fear. It seems to be having no emotion.
Exactly.
It seems to just cutting yourself off from all emotion and just going through life like nothing matters. Like just being it, which, I mean, it's just so heavy-handed to me how much this was like, you should have just did it like father and son. Like, father came back from the U.S. war, and his actual son is like, I want to go into the U.S. Army like my dad, but I didn't pass the military corps rank. And it's just like, what? Like, if you would have done that, I would have been like, well, this is a cheesy movie.
Right.
But I'm already, we're like 3 scenes into the movie, and I'm already like, why? What's with all the star shit? Like, you don't need to have space and...
Exactly.
Like, I wanted to save, like, that big... Like, that's how I felt about the film to the end, but I felt that 2 scenes into the film. I was like, there's no need for any of this space shit.
No.
And it draws away from what is probably not a terrible story.
Right.
Exactly. It's not... I'm not sitting here saying, yes, it's great, but it's not a bad... Like, if you took away the space shit and replaced Will Smith with Chuck Norris, I'd go, yeah, of course. That's a film. Of course it's a film.
Yeah.
Because it's just the father and the son and the military aspect, and you have to remember your training and...
Right.
Like, it's just... Oh, man. Like, I feel bad. Like, we're only a fucking scene in, and I'm already... Like, that's the end. I'm already at the end. I'm already done with the film. I'm a scene in, and I'm done with the film. I already know what's going to happen. And I don't know when you got bored with the film, but I did. Like,
it was probably after, like, literally right before they got onto the ship to leave.
Like the hangar, right?
Yeah,
right. They got to the hangar, and I was like, I know how this film's gonna happen, and I don't care.
Exactly.
Oh my god, it was so predictable. It was so boring, and it was a lot of glamour. It was mostly just glamour shots.
Oh yeah.
It was just here he runs past some trees. Let's run. Oh, look at the waterfall and.
Right, exactly. Just about an hour of Jaden just running through the forest. Dude. And then stopping for 2 seconds to show how scared he looks. And then back to running.
Which is stone face. No, he doesn't look scared. It's just stone. You know, he does look scared, but he always looks scared.
Right.
So it's not he's not showing an emotion. That's his face. You know what I mean? It's like when people go, oh, he has resting bitch face. You go, is he angry? No, that's his fucking face. He's just, that's how it always looks.
Right.
Angry as fuck. He's not angry. He's just, that's how his face rests. So yeah, they have dinner. Seems trivial now to point it out, but did you notice what they were eating with? Did you notice like the weird?
Oh yeah,
it was 3 chopsticks, like
rubber band together.
Like,
yeah,
yeah, it was so weird. And I don't know if I was pausing it to look. The wife eating with a different utensil.
No, that I did not.
She had these weird like tweezer things. But it also had a spoon on the other side.
Okay. The future's weird.
I don't like it. Yeah. Or the future lacks a proper prop budget. Like, like we can afford 2 of those, but not just go get the real one. Like, you know, the one they give like people with arthritis in Japan. You know, like they can't use real chopsticks. Give them this medical chopsticks. So, like I said, we're already done with the film, like 15 minutes in, and we're like, I'm done. I don't care about this film. So, dinner's over. Later, Cypher gives a present to his wife, and he's like, I'm going to retire soon after my next assignment. You know, I want my wife back. I want my family back. And the wife's like, well, you know, you want me back, but you got a son in there that doesn't have a father, so you need to take care of that shit if you want a family. And I'm like, you don't need any of this space shit. This is the most normal human being shit. None of this space shit is necessary. Oh my! Like I said, as okay as the story, like as normal and okay as the story would be, all the space shit makes me go, what are they doing? Like
exactly, they could have had the same story if they went, let's say, camping in the woods.
Yeah. Like imagine if someone was like, you know Shakespeare? Yeah, I want to do Shakespeare. Oh, you want to redo Shakespeare? No, I want to do Shakespeare, but in space. You go, why? What's wrong with you? You're gonna change anything? No, I won't change absolutely nothing. Mercutio and Romeo, we will all be in space and bite our thumbs at each other just in space. What the fuck's your problem, dude? Oh man, you know I'm like trying to create a false movie to make fun of, but they really did that. Did you know? Not in space, but they did that. They remade. I think it was like Hamlet or something like that, in urban '90s settings where people are wearing like FUBAs and like bright like neon shit and like driving around in like topless jeeps and stuff like that, but still going, "Do you bite your thumb at me, sir?" I was like, "What is happening? What are you doing?" I feel like somebody walked into an office and went, Hamlet, and the guy went, yes, brilliant, money! And didn't ask any other questions. Like, oh.
Seriously.
That's what happened with this one, too. That's what that one is built to. So, where are we? Yes, you want a family, go be a family to your son. So he walks into his room, he's like, you come with me on this next very important and deadly military trip? Like, I didn't know you could just drag your son.
Apparently.
Whatever, so you're going with me. Next, we're in the hangar. Well, the film's in the hangar. Me and you are done with the film. Right. We're fucking walking away. The wife is incredibly happy that they're spending time together and says goodbye and walks away. This is when the one ranger with the missing leg shows up. He's like, you saved my life with that battle before. Stand me up. Oh, and he stands up and he salutes. I'm like, oh, yeah. And they salute and they sit him back down. And everyone's all like, oh, my God, emotion. Yeah. And they get on the ship and they take off. On the ship, everyone goes to sleep for the 7-hour trip, except for Katai, who wanders around into a part of the ship that says restricted area, no entry, authorized personnel only, displaying clear signs of a ranger, obviously, right? Just walking in. So, in that area, there's a guard, and he shows him the Ursa. Like, oh, you want to see if you can ghost, kid? Let's see if you can ghost. And this is when the flashbacks start.
Right.
Like, every 10 minutes... Cypher or Katai have a flashback to anything, really, just anything they feel like it. Like, it's just like, oh, remember that time when my daughter, she had a book? I remember that book. Anyway. Just like I guess they were supposed to be like, oh, remember those precious moments that we had? But it's like, just, they weren't. They were just weird.
Yeah, just weird moments of that. Like, I think that flashback was only brought in because Jaden mentions how he read, Moby Dick. He's reading Moby Dick. Like, it's some great thing. And then they later do the flashback. It's like, right, okay.
Yeah.
He's reading Moby Dick because of his sister. But still.
But the problem is he brings up, they have Katai. He's like, oh, I'm reading Moby Dick, Dad, And he's like, okay, good, whatever. And then they do the flashback about the sister. I got Moby Dick. It's a great book, blah, blah. And then later on, he's like, where's that damn Ursa? And I'm like, oh, Moby Dick, where's the whale? Where's the Ursa? But then they just dropped that. Like, that's just dropped halfway through the film. And there's, like, I've never read Moby Dick, so maybe the story of Moby Dick is the deadly, horrid search for a whale that just kind of stops eventually, and then he goes home. And it's just, like, another, 300 pages about, I talk to my wife every Sunday, and we raise the kids well.
Now, here's my question about the future. Now, we're apparently 1,000 years into the future.
Into their future. Like, I don't know where,
that's true.
1,000 years after leaving Earth, and who knows when that happened.
Right. That's true, too. But, nonetheless, in the future, but yet we have some weird meteorite as a gel cell?
You mean, like that egg thing? Or I don't know what that was. I thought that was the Ursa. Like, it was going to pop out like a turtle or something.
Right, me too.
No, that was some weird, egg shell thing,
that it's living in, I guess.
Yeah,
or
I don't know, man.
That they locked it in? I don't know.
I got no clue, dude.
But still, either way, the future and that, I got it. We'll get this egg thing in a ship, and we're just going to wrap a whole bunch of blankets or sheets around it to hold it in place.
I know. 30 billion years in the future. How do we secure something? Blankets and chains. Yeah, that's fine. How do we communicate? Oh, through wrist video computers that can talk to each other pristinely through space. You guys got metal chains, right? That's the only way we can secure anything in the future. Metal chains and heavy packing blankets. That's what I mean. Like, they spent 99% of their budget on CGI. Because everything that's real, you go, what the hell are they doing?
Right.
Later on, the spaceship spoiler alert for the fucking movie. The spaceship crashes, and it breaks apart, and I go, that's wet toilet paper. That's what your prop for the inside of a blown-up spaceship are streams of wet toilet paper. Like, without any doubt in my mind. Right. I was just like, I can't believe they put any money into this film, let alone millions, hundreds of millions. So, where are we? Yeah, we're on the ship. We're going to ghost. He can't ghost, though. He keeps remembering his sister getting in trouble, fighting the Ursa that long time ago. Cypher shows up. He's like, we got to go to Retcon 1. He's like, what? Oh, my gosh. Katai straps into his seat. Turns out they're in the middle of an asteroid field because of some weird future science phenomenon that's totally rare, whatever. Oh, but it happened, of course. So the asteroid hits the ship, and I'm like, you're a dick. I further hate Will Smith because the ship is being absolutely bombarded with asteroids. Everything is shaking. Everything's like... Will Smith is trying his absolute hardest to stand in the middle of the cockpit with both his arms behind his back. Like, absolutely stoic with the captain. And the ship's shaking, so he falls, catches himself, and then stands back up in the captain's position with his arm. I'm like, what a dick! Are you kidding me? People are dying! You're worrying about your posture. Like... So... The ship is, I don't know how fake gravity works in space, but I don't think a ship should be shaking like that. Yeah, That's just me. We did it in Star Trek in the 70s, but we didn't know any better. Whatever, fine. So the ship takes damage. We have to land, actually, before we land, they jump to warp. Okay, now we land on a random planet for safety, but it turns out that planet is Earth. Oh no, it's a Quarantine 1 planet. We can't go there. We have to. All right, let's go. So they try to land. But the ship breaks up, while landing, and everyone dies. Yay. And that's the end of the movie.
If only. That was the end.
No. But I will point out that this is the second time in the film where we could go, and everyone dies in this whole film with a death hallucination.
Right.
Because the film starts out with Jaden Smith dying in a field, and you're like, hey, remember all this stuff? Death hallucination. Yeah.
That's true. That's... So wait, is it a death hallucination within a death hallucination?
Yeah. It is a death hallucination within a flashback that is a death hallucination.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yes. Not to mention there are also flashbacks within the flashback from the death hallucination. So it's...
It's really in depth.
Yeah, this is like, what do you call it there? The sleepy one?
Inception?
Yeah, that, where it's just deep and deep and deep and deep, and you can't, there's no end to the story. So, no, the ship crash lands, and as we will see much later in the film, dozens of people survive the crash. So, the wrecked ship, Katai's alive. Oh, let me rummage through the dead bodies, look for my father. Oh, there it is, his body. I'll take a nap on it. Hours later, Dad wakes up. Good thing he wasn't dead. Let's do a captain's log, and let me explain everything about the story to Katai right now. Like, he just lays out the whole film. We have an emergency beacon, but it's broken. The other one's in the tail of the ship, which broke off mid-flight in the crash. So you have to travel about 100 kilometers to get it, or we're all going to die. I was like, wow, that was like...
Right.
You really just laid out everything. Oh, no, we're not done here. Take this. This is your risk communicator. It's the only way we can talk to each other. Take this breathe gas. It's the only way you breathe. Make sure you have you have 24 hours before you breathe. I'm like, is this a video game? Like, what's with all the objectives and the complications? And
here's my questioning, though, on that. Now, throughout the movie, Jaden's taking this breathe gas because, they're on Earth. The gravity's different and,
yeah.
Things, he needs it to help coat his lungs so that he can breathe perfectly fine.
Sure.
Why doesn't Will Smith have to take one?
Because doesn't make any fucking sense. I agree with you, but when you noticed when the ship crashed, he pushed that dead body out of the ship,
yeah,
and then that plastic bag came down, and that completely sealed the ship off. Also, when the ship crashed, it maintained enough of its electricity to pump oxygen into specific air. Like, it's just...
Okay,
yeah,
I
it's
guess.
just like, oh, of course it did. Like, why wouldn't it have? It wouldn't have a story otherwise. Like, oh, man. So, he's somehow fine. But it doesn't make any sense, too, because when the ship is crashing, what happens? One half blows off. We see the sky. The other half blows off. We see Will get sucked into the ship. I'm like, what?
Well, it was funny. I wondered that too. I was like, how did he even survive the crash? We clearly saw him get sucked out into space.
It's just so defeating. Like, it's just one of those things where you go, this is a religion, isn't it?
Exactly.
Because there's no way anybody that paid attention would believe it. It has to be one of those things that you go in and go, I just can't wait for it to be, I saw it. Yeah, did you watch it, though? I know you saw it, but did you pay attention? No, but it's in my heart, so why do I need to? Because it doesn't make sense, that's why. Because if you paid attention, you'd go, this doesn't make any sense. So, whatever, here's all your stuff that you need to survive. Go out on Earth. He goes out, everything's new. Oh my god, what's that? Look out, oh my god, okay, we're gonna be fine. Let's go to the high ground, right, yeah. Just Katai, just by himself.
This is the other thing that I found annoying, that every so often they did the whole, all right, you're overreacting. You need to go down on one knee while I try to pep talk you through all this for a moment.
Yeah, like, it's, I don't know, it's just, it was a very strange, like, take a knee, where what do you see around you? Take in sights and smells, like, ground yourself. And I was like, what?
Exactly.
Like, not for nothing, but those are real tactics that people are encouraged to take to get away from a panic attack. Like, I was like, what are they, like, it's just so weird, especially because Scientology doesn't believe in mental illnesses. They don't think they're real. They just think that they're personal quirks that you have to overcome, and that's,
right.
Like, there's no defect in the brain. It's just like, well, you just need to work harder at not being afraid of dandelions. Like, really? Like, I can't, you don't think there's, whatever, I don't know, maybe that's probably the wrong example, but whatever. I'll probably have a whole group of dandelion enthusiast hate mail tomorrow. I don't get mail. That's a lie. So, yeah, go on Earth. This is where I see that all the rocks are covered in, like, wet toilet paper. I'm like, where is your budget? But fine, okay. He climbs up. He goes in the... This, again, He climbs up the rocks, and he sees Earth. Look at Earth. Oh, it's so beautiful. The sky is what I consider being terrorized by birds. Because the sky is littered with birds. And they're just moving in these, like, fish, like, just move, like, swoops and, like, just like amoeba, group amoebas of, like, single-thought birds just swimming through the sky. Well, what else has happened in the 1,000 years where Earth was so devastatingly bad humans couldn't live on it? The American bison came back from extinction, and they roamed the land freely.
Well, it's so funny. When I saw that scene, too, I was just like, oh, man. That is so many CGI fucking buffalo. There's no fucking way that they went somewhere and saw that many buffalo and were like, we'll take it.
They're like legit probably 75 to 80 individual buffaloes like on one screen.
Yeah.
There was so many buffalo.
Seriously.
Oh man. Of an animal that was extinct years before Earth was livable, let alone destroy. Like, that's just fine. Okay, Scientology. Keep giving me zero science. Well, what else happens? I don't know. Cypher Reach sends out some probes to look for the Ursa. Turns out Cypher is like really badly injured. He needs an arterial shunt or whatever like that. So he takes some medication, which gives him extreme drowsiness and impaired vision and instant flashbacks, because we go to a flashback, like I said, where he's talking to his daughter on the wrist communicator about Moby Dick, and it's just like, oh, this boy gave it to me. He said I could hold on to it. And he's like, hold on to what? Penises? And it's just like, ew, I guess.
Yeah.
Ew.
That was a little awful. Like part of me felt like they were trying to be funny, but with the way he was acting, it just came off really wrong. And just like,
yeah,
that's unnecessary.
That's why I say again, it's really in that, like, if it was just like a middle America U.S. soldier, like that would have, of course, that like stereotype of a character would have been that. Oh, what? You're trying to touch a penis? My daughter ain't doing it. Yeah, I'm like, haha, look at that dumb dad. Like, yeah, it would have been a stereotype, but this is just, it's just like, yeah, but even in space, like, we're still as dumb. Like, it's just. All right, whatever. So, we go back to the ship. We go back to Earth. Katai's suit changes colors. This is every scene. Every scene is just like, look at this new, like, oh, look at this new danger. Look at this new tech. Like, it's just such a video game mentality. Like, oh, let's go to the next level. Oh, here's the new item you have to use in this level.
No, and you're right. And then it cuts back to your dad to just explain to you, kind of like
in home base.
Yeah, exactly.
The same thing. Video game is. It cuts back to the boss, who has the same background behind him the whole time.
Right.
You know, they didn't render him in a different area. So, I forgot. We also learned that two important things, which is the wrist communicator is our sole means of communication, and also the planet completely freezes at night, and you have to find hotspots.
Yeah, exactly.
How is there a planet at all if the whole thing freezes?
Not even that. How does it work if all of it freezes, but certain spots of it doesn't freeze?
It's just below, that's...
Let alone, what the fuck happened to Earth that all of a sudden random parts of it freeze and random parts of it don't for some reason?
We fucked it up bad, dude.
Apparently.
We really, really fucked up Earth. And then it evolved to breathe... it doesn't... That's the part that's so crazy to me, is that in 1,000 years, in the time of, what's 1,000 years? So from, I don't even know what happened in 1,000 years ago. I'm bad at history. This is Delta's department. He really should have been here. I don't know, 1,000 years ago was, let's just say, Jesus time. It's not true. It's not true at all. But...
Well, no, technically 1,000 years ago... would have been like, no.
100.
Yeah, 1,000. No. Yeah. Oh, no, I'm way off. Yeah, I was just thinking minus 100 years ago. No, wow.
That's it's not. It's 1,000 years.
I'll take Jesus' time. Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah, fine. And in that time, plants give off and breathe different gases. Also, all the animals now breathe a non-oxygen gas.
Right.
Like, that's like, that's not how evolution works. That's just not how it works. So, whatever. Where are we?
Which then, wait.
Oh.
In the case that, the oxygen's different, how the hell does the Ursa live on Earth?
Dude, I don't understand how that creature can breathe any gas in the, like, it doesn't. Yes, okay, fine, it was bred to hunt humans. That would mean that it would breathe oxygen, the same thing that humans breathe, because it hunts them. But no, apparently, I guess it just doesn't breathe. Like, I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Every part of this movie, they go, and here's why that is. And you go, no. No, that's the opposite of why that is. So, we are on Earth. Well, we're always on Earth. It doesn't move from Earth. But, Katai's suit changes color. And it's like, that you have movement sensors on your suit. I'm like, of course he does. And it turns out there's baboons or a baboon nearby. And he's like, oh, that's all right. Just, express your dominance. This will be your moment. And Katai just starts hucking rocks at the baboons. And he calls for his baboon friends. And now he's just got to run from monkeys. Yay! So there's a chase scene. And it was
not for nothing. He's already pissed off the baboons. You scolding him on top of baboons yelling at him really isn't going to change the chain of events that are already happening in this.
Yeah, like...
It's like he's fucked up already. You yelling at him, not making the situation any better. He's got it.
I don't like any of the characters. I don't like the story. Nothing... And none of the actions makes... Nothing about this film makes any sense. What happens? He runs from the monkeys. Well, and then what does he do? Oh, the monkeys stop chasing him. Again, he's like, take a kneel, do the kneel thing. He kneels down. What happens? Oh, a slug touches his skin. He's poisoned. His face starts swelling with latex. Because it's just awful. His face starts swelling. He's got to administer, put the thing on. My hands are swelled. I can't fall on it quick. This is a dramatic moment. Oh, I did it. Good job. Good job, son. You remember your training or whatever. I was like, all right, fine, sure, whatever.
Exactly.
Whatever. I don't fucking care. Yeah, also the toxins have a paralyzing agent, so just lay there for a while. You just lay down for a while. And him laying down for a while is supposed to be, oh, look, he's laying down paralyzed. This is the whole story we just heard up to the flashback. Like, so now we're in the actual story, I guess.
Right.
Because before this, it was all he was thinking about what happened. So then later on, the movie's like, wake up, hey, we still got a movie to do. And no, Cypher is like, come on, we have to run. Or he just goes, just get up. It's time for you to get up and run. Just let me see if you can run. I don't know why. He's like, just run. So they run.
Well, I would assume because nightfall was coming soon and he was nowhere near a hot spot.
Yeah, but he doesn't say that.
Right.
So, like you said, you presume that's why. That's fine. I could make guesses too. The movie doesn't tell us why. It's just run, dude. Okay, sure. So he runs. While he's running, Cypher performs an arterial shunt on his own leg with medical tubing, because that's how medical tubing works. It's all purpose. Do you need a medical tube? Do you need a tube for medical reasons? Medical tubing. It could be used for anything. Yeah. Do you need a whole new artery? Medical tubing. It's fine. It's all purpose. So this causes a flashback, of course. Again, risk communicator thing. Hey, Dad, blow out the candles. I physically cannot blow out the candles. That is not how risk communicators work. Just do it, Dad. Tee-hee. Okay, fine. Blow. The candles go out. Psych, it was me. Ha, ha, ha. Flashback. God, just a cute moment. Like I said, it's just one of those things where if this was like an American soldier, like just dying in a war, it would have been something that people would have been like, yes, I was there. I know what that's like. My family. You remember the little things. And
No, you're right.
But in space with Will Smith yelling at his kid, I don't give a shit about this. I don't care about any of this. So, where are we? Oh, we go back to Earth from the flashback. Okay, now let's consolidate our equipment. Why not? Let's just consolidate it. Okay. Oh no, 2 of the oxygen thingies broke. Gasp. Katai's just going to lie about it. It'll be fine. It won't come up later. Don't worry, it's fine. But Cypher can see his blood pressure increase because he's got those monitors in the ship. So, something's definitely up. Suddenly, we're at nighttime under a tree in a storm.
Now, once again, how the fuck does science work on this new Earth? Because if Earth is freezing over and there's random hotspots, you're going to tell me in the middle of whatchamacallit, like, let's say, a plane, there's a circle that's warm while everything's frosted over?
Yeah, I actually, yes. That is what I will tell you because that is what the maps showed. They had maps and that's what they showed. Literally, there are like small, like just little divots in the land where you go, oh look, there's heat there for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah. Also,
right.
Also, they're hot enough that when at night the entire planet freezes, the rain doesn't.
I didn't even think of
There's
that.
no
You're right.
snow or hail or no, it's just rain, just in that one area. Yeah. I mean, yes, I've seen small isolated showers like that, but that's for that to be how the planet works.
Exactly.
It would implode. It couldn't. So during the storm, Katai's like, how did it happen? And Cypher's like, well, here's the first time how I became Ghost. I was on a routine patrol, and one time a Cypher just tried to drown me, and I went, that's fucked up. And then I ghosted. I was like, oh, that really helped, thanks. Like, that's all it was. It was like I was fighting it, and it tried to drown me, and I went, this sucks. I really hope this doesn't happen. And I decided it shouldn't. And I fought back. And I was like, how do you think that helps anybody?
Right, exactly.
And he explains that that's when I realized that fear is not real. It's just part of imagination. That fear is you thinking what might happen, not what's actually happening. And to be afraid of things that aren't happening is absolutely insane. So don't fear things. And I don't know if this is me or if this is how bad the movie is. I go, yeah, that makes sense. That actually makes sense to me, yeah. That makes sense to me, yeah. It does, though, because a lot of times people are afraid of shit that they think might happen, and you go, there's no fucking way it's going to what are you doing? You're building shit up in your own head, and you're hurting yourself because of it, It's not that serious, but...
No, you're right, I could see that, yeah.
Yeah. And that's what he says, that, the danger is real, but being afraid of that danger, that's a choice.
Right.
That's you going, oh my god, I'm going to die. Instead of going, I might die, but I'm definitely going to fuck this dude up before that happens. Like, it's your choice whether or not to be afraid of something. And somehow I agree with that. Cue the Scientology music! That's the day they win, is when they start, recruiting musicians. Then we're fucked. So yeah, after all that speech, he's like, oh, excuse me, we go to the next day. Fear is a choice. Next day. Katai stumbles across a pile of dead monkey parts. Or baboon parts, I should say. And Cypher's like, I think you need to reach the waterfall ASAP. Get there right now. So he does. He gets there, real quick. And they do equipment a check again. And he's like, I got 2 vials left. I lied. I thought I could make it. And he's like, all right, Cypher is like, that's it. The mission's over. We failed. I made a mistake. You got to come back. And he's like, what was the mistake? Trusting me? Yes, was that the mistake? Trusting me to not let my sister die is not my fault. Where were you? I couldn't do anything. I did what I could. I'm going to do it no matter what you say, Dad. Ah! And he commits suicide and jumps off a cliff. And I went, whoa!
I understood his need to get it off his chest, but I didn't understand his choice of timing for it.
Well, look, when emotions run high like that...
No, I get it, but it was just it was a little weird. It was like, yeah, this is something that you two need to clearly talk about, but...
Well, it wasn't just something that they needed to talk about. It was also something that he... the whole movie, he keeps thinking back to how his sister... So it was also something that he needed to deal with. So that's why he exploded and not Will.
I guess.
Because it wasn't yeah, I know, it's not your fault, but, it is your fault. There was no explosion at Will, because it was all in Jaden going, I failed myself, and now you're giving me shit, so now I know you think I failed. It's just... It's fear. It's him being afraid of his dad thinking That he, like, it's just, you're afraid of shit that you don't know. Like, talk to your dad and you'll know if you should be afraid of that shit.
Right.
But it's the motif of over and over fear. Fear is a choice, and there's a lot of things that people do in this film and you go, well, that's you choosing to do that. Like, if you would have just... Anyway. So he jumps off a cliff. Luckily, all of the suits are equipped with, like, wings, and he just starts flying. Yeah. And I go, oh my god, I really thought he was just gonna, like, die or something.
Yeah, at first, too, I thought the same thing. I was like, what the fuck? Like, such a weird twist to this movie.
It's okay, Dad, I'll land in the water, I'll be fine. You just jumped 166 stories. Like, you're not going to make it.
But then I'll admit, when he did end up revealing that he had, like, the wings, I was like... Of course he has fucking wings and is now gliding down. Of fucking course he is.
Cynical Danny Lane. Oh, of course he doesn't splat into a liquid. Yeah. Oh, look at him fly away to safety. Gross, Hollywood. Come on. Don't you know what the people want? Kids liquefied. That's what we want. No, yeah. So he catches air. He starts flying around. But of course, there's a giant hawk in the sky that starts to fly after him, and it catches him. Katai later wakes up in a giant nest, and he is immediately attacked by tigers. Like, before he even sees the owner of the nest, he's attacked by tigers. The hawk tries to fend off the tigers, but Katai has to help. And Katai, this is so weird, he uses his cutlass blade like a bat to knock a tiger down through the hole in the nest.
Right.
Instead of just slicing up tigers with your blades. Like, it was just
right.
Like, what are you doing?
Exactly. Instead of, right, like you said, cutting up the tiger, because clearly they've showed many times that this thing can be a knife, a sickle, whatchamacallit.
Pretty much anything you
pick,
want. Like, just think about it, and that's what it is.
Right. And yeah, he just decides, oh yeah, no, I'm going to make it into a knife, and then just not do anything with the knife. Just, act like I'm going to stab the tiger.
There's so many, like, I think it's later on, I think he's fighting the Ursa or something like that, and he pulls it out into sickles, and then uses the sickles to climb away. Like, he doesn't use it against the Ursa. And I was
right.
Like, what are you, like, why? What are you thinking? So, whatever, yeah. Fights the tigers. Tigers are dead. But also, sadly, there were babies in the nest. That's what the tigers were after. They died, too. Aww. So Katai gets out of the nest. He sees the eagle or the hawk, whatever, is just like screaming into the sky over its dead babies. Tries to call Dad, but oh no, our only means of communication is broken. Who saw that coming at all, ever, anywhere? Next thing you're going to tell me is somehow the frost zones are going to come into play. No. We go to Cypher real quick, and he sees that there are human bodies hung on trees, which is a sign of the Ursa. Like I said, some people survived the crash. Not for very long. They survived the crash. I only say that because I can't imagine the Ursa was walking around. Like, you can only see human pheromones, so he couldn't have picked up a dead body. He wouldn't be able to see it.
That's true.
So it had to be an alive body that he purposely put there to, as they explain later. So, Katai, he finds a cave in a tree stump near a riverbank. Inside are cave paintings, because I guess before humans left Earth, they lived in caves. Like, whatever, sure. Also, a flying snake.
Yeah, that was really fucking weird.
Snake can fly, but still lives in caves. Sure, whatever, fine. Also, deeper in the cave is lava. Does it come into play? No. But there it is, man. There it is. Captain's log. Back of the ship, Cypher leaves a captain's log for his wife that he has lost contact with their son. End of log. We go back. It was just like, I don't think Cypher knows what a captain's log is supposed to be. Or maybe he does, and William Shatner has completely ruined my sense of captain's logs.
I think it's a little both.
Probably a little both, yeah.
Probably.
Is that you know what, really? That's shame on me, because just the other day I was thinking about this. Don't aim for Shatner. It's okay. It's perfectly okay to be Shatner. That's fine. That's absolutely acceptable, and it's probably pretty rewarding and prestigious. But don't aim for Shatner. You know what I mean? It's fine. If you want to be the Karate Kid, that's fine. But don't aim for the Karate Kid.
Right, no, you're right.
Don't. You know what I mean? It's okay to be the Karate Kid, but don't go, that's all I want to be in life. There's other things you can do. William Hung. You could be William Hung. Don't aim to be William Hung. I was watching Arrested Development. That's the only reason it was in my head. With the hung jury with William Hung. That's about the only joke you're going to get out of that, and that's a good one. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. Okay, so anyway, in the hog hole, Katai remembers his journey through audio flashbacks and judges the trek ahead via chalk, because all caves have chalk. Next day, Katai is traveling, and then he comes across a river and goes, I'll make a raft, why not? Makes a raft, falls asleep on it, has a dream about his sister. It's pretty much pointless, again, like all the other sister flashbacks. The flashback, if you will, wakes him up just before the nightfall freeze starts to happen on the planet, and he runs and runs and runs, and then gets frozen anyway, so oh well. And his body is dragged away. Oh no! The next day, and I'm like, yo, why does every scene is, and then daylight comes, which means the next day.
Right. Which, not even just that, why is every scene, something happens, Jaden gets over it, and now a new evil shows up that he has to overcome somehow.
Dude, I'm pretty sure we've had, like, 4 days already.
Yeah, and
he didn't have that many oxygen.
No, he didn't.
It's like this. Oh man, nothing. Like I just feel like nobody paid attention to the film.
Not at all. Because technically, this would have to be the one where he uses his last oxygen.
But he still has 2 left.
But in technicality, he shouldn't have any left.
No. Which is fine, though, because, like, in 2 scenes when he gets to the ship, he's like, I don't have any left now. And I'm like, sure. What? You just had 2 left. What happened? So, like, it's, whatever. Like I said, next day, he wakes up from being frozen. Oh, but he's in, like, a shallow grave made of grass. And I go, oh, my God, is this when he finds, like, evil voodoo humans? Like, what sick witch doctor thing is? No, it turns out the giant bird kept him warm all night. Oh, thanks, giant bird. I said, thanks, giant bird. Oh, you're dead. He's a dead bird. That bird's dead. And I don't know if this is me, like if I need to go to a doctor or something, but that bird died. And my first thought was, fry that bitch up. Fried chicken, let's go. I was like, oh, good. At least Jaden gets to eat.
Hey, that would have been the smart thing.
So, yes, we finally get to, like, the tail of the ship. Jaden is running out of air, but he sees some part of the ship. Oh, that's it. Now that I see it, which means running out of air, I can now climb a fucking tree, no problem. Climbs a tree, even though he can't breathe. Sees the ship, runs up a hill, even though he can't breathe.
Right.
Desperately searches through the debris and finds more oxygen. Oh, good. Now that I found this oxygen, I'm certainly positive that volcano in the background won't come into play at all. Yeah, of course. We also see that the Ursa broke out of a shell. Oh, and Katai gets a new cutlass because apparently he lost his old one. I didn't notice that at all.
Yeah, me either.
He lost it, though, apparently. So we call Cypher at the ship, and he's having flashbacks and disagreeing about those flashbacks. And also his shunt fails. Katai tries to contact him, but Katai can't hear Cypher because of electrical interference. But Cypher can hear Katai, so it's like, oh, come on, son, so I can hear you. You know what you have to do, and he's just like, come on, you know the training. You have to do, like, think about from the backpack and go, like, up the mountain and do, and Katai's like, yeah, and, like, as Cypher's just, like, saying it out loud, like, remember this, Katai's like, yeah, I figured that out, too. Yes, and now I figured that out, too. And, like, the first time I watched it, I go, are they psychically linked? Like I do.
Well, that's funny. That's what I thought too. After a while, I was like, wait. No. Has he fucked with this kid enough that somehow they're like sending messages to each other telepathically? Yeah.
No, it's just one of those things. Like, oh, I remember all my training. Yes, now I am finally a ranger. Like again, that's why I think it would have worked better if it was not like a space. Because if it wasn't space, I never for a second would have went telepathy, right? That's what's happening now.
Right.
I would have been in the Earth going, and this is the moment. I would have, the music would have swollen. No. Telepathy, that's what's happening, all right? So, he goes to, Gatai, he goes to the volcano, and again, the same thing, like, I don't know if it's telepathy or not, because Jaden sees, like, the dead bodies, and Cypher's like, it's okay, that's just there to scare you, it's the Ursa, and I'm like, but that's not... Would he know that? Is that training, or is he explain? Like, I couldn't follow.
Right.
Like, it's just so. Oh man, oh man, oh man, it's so confusing. So, Katai reaches the base of the volcano, or one of the many plateaus of the volcano, and his suit changes color. So he runs into the cave, but the Ursa's in there, and it attacks from above. Oh no! They dive into water, and they swim away, and Katai escapes. But then. The Ursa attacks him again, and he escapes again. He gets to a cliff top, and he's like, oh, I gotta call for help, no. And Cypher starts to pass out from blood loss. And what is it? Katai, yeah, he's having, death flashbacks about how he's not gonna be able to save his sister, and oh no, I'll never get it. And, the Ursa, that's it. The Ursa, he comes out of the hole in the ground where the water was, and he starts throwing them around, and he loses the thing, and he's like, no, this is the moment my sister's death will not mean nothing. And then, let's see, he has a sister's death flashback, followed by an audio flashback, followed by a flashback to the ride, and now he's invisible to the Ursa. Yep, sure, why not? Okay. So he gets up and he murders the shit out of the Ursa to the point where I go, dude, stop it.
It was a little much after a while.
Bad for the Ursa. I was like, dude, this isn't fair. Like, come on.
Well, my whole thing is, what message are you trying to send besides, in order for it not to care about you, you have to not give a fuck, but in order to get, from the last few stories that we've heard, in order to not give a fuck, you have to almost die, apparently.
Yeah. I guess the only... See, that's like that soldier mentality, It's like, how can I kill a man? Well, when you're in the midst of war, you're gonna get into that mode and just have no problem killing somebody. When they're, it's just like, what? Why the space? Why all the space stuff?
Right, exactly.
I don't need an asteroid storm in this story. When the tigers started climbing trees in packs, I went, oh, something I can actually believe. As insane as that is, that went, well, at least that's a down-to-earth idea, Tigers hunting in packs. He murders the shit out of the Ursa, his suit changes back, he sends a signal, the Rangers come, they rescue.
And conveniently... the sensor only works once the Ursa is killed. Because before that, I'm standing in the same spot trying to use it, and the beam won't shoot out.
Oh, no, yeah. Oh, now that I have all the time in the world, it works perfectly, yeah. Typical military-grade equipment, see? You don't need space shit. It writes itself. So, yeah, literally they're like, Pachoo, come save us. Okay, let's just... knock down this door and we'll save Cypher and everyone's saved now. Like, they don't show anything. They show them, like, we have his body. Let's go. On the ship, Katai walks in and, like, you see some guy watching the playback of his fight and you're like, oh my god, he can't, like, they're in shock. And he sees his dad on, like, the, medical slab gurney thing. And he's like, stand me up. And he stands him up and he salutes his son and they run over and he hugs him. He's like, oh, yeah. And he's like, Dad, I want to work with Mom. And he's like, ha, 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 me too. And they lay down and fly away. And as they fly away, we see the whales in the ocean. And I went, all right, the Moby Dick thing. I totally forgot about that.
What I don't get about that scene is when they first crash land, Will Smith makes a point to mention that he has 2 broken legs. How does he stand on his own? When does he have 2 broken legs? He mentions that both his legs are broken.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Because throughout the whole movie, he keeps focusing on the one leg.
Yeah, because he mentions the breaking the one leg is a lot worse than the breaking the other leg.
I didn't even notice that. Okay.
Yeah, but my whole thing is, on the left leg, we clearly see that the bone has separated. How's he standing up?
Dude.
And that bone isn't, like, pushing through his skin or, pushing through his muscle more. Like
medical tubing. That's how.
That's right. I forgot the medical tubing.
Yep. Use it as bone. Oh man. Like I said, it was such take away the space stuff, and this would have been like a Turner Classic movie. Like it would have been like like one of those like Steven Seagal before all the crazy Chinese shit. You know, just a guy walking through the woods and his like Chuck Norris or like just one of those films. Like it's without any doubt in my mind. Like I said,
right.
15 minutes into the film, and I went, duh. Like, what? There's no need for any of this space shit.
Exactly. There wasn't any need for it. It didn't really help in anything. It didn't play into anything because the story that they told, they could have basically told the same thing, like you've been saying, without there being the concept of space in there.
Yeah. So I want to go ahead and jump to why would you make this? Because, we've talked about it already time, but yeah, that's what the story was. There's a Comic-Con panel on YouTube where the writer talks about this. Originally, the story was supposed to be a father and son camping trip. Will Smith apparently watched a whole bunch of, like, I Shouldn't Be Alive or something like that. Right. You know, the shows where, like, the person gets lost in the wilderness and they go, and then I had to eat the raccoon and I can't believe I can't, you know.
Right. He
watched, like, 80 of those and went, this would make a good movie. And they talked about it, and they're like, yeah, but space dude, right? They're like, yeah, space dude.
Why?
I just thought it would be a bigger epic, like it would be a big project.
Awful.
Yeah. What else? This film was... What was it? Hour and 30?
Hour 39, I believe.
39. Yes, it was an hour and 40, but... It had like an hour and 39, but it had 9 minutes worth of credits.
Yeah, I think it ended at like an hour 23, something like that.
Really? That?
Yeah.
Holy jeez, no! I think it was a little longer than that. Maybe it was 32. But it was around that. Like it wasn't the full 140.
Right.
By a 10-minute margin, it was really far off. And so that's 60. So that's 100 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The original cut was supposed to be 130 minutes long. But, it also included more story about the decline of Earth and the formation of Nova Prime. But it was re-edited after poor test screening. And any actors playing the Nova Primates, which is what they called humans, which is awful, were either reduced to extras or cut out entirely. So, the guy with one leg probably did star in this film at one point. Huh. And they recut it.
Right.
I doubt you really would remember it, but when we go to the hangar, Mom and son are talking. Will Smith goes and talks to some lady. Mm-hmm. When they're on the ship, and they're like, I'm going to go to sleep. Make sure you sleep too. Yeah. Same lady sitting next to him on the ship, which leads me to believe she had a bigger role. Right. So, like, there's all these people, you're like, that he probably had more lines. They probably had more, you know what I mean? The what do you call it? The ranger teacher, I guess, if you want to call him that. Mm-hmm. He probably had, like, all these people that have, like, one scene ago. They were probably in it more.
Right.
The boot camp guy who was like, this isn't a race. Maybe he had, you know, like... what else do we have here? Oh, yes, and finally I want to say, you know, why would you make this? Whose fault is this? You go, oh, of course, directors. Well, unfortunately, or I don't know if I want to say unfortunately, but apparently... although he wasn't credited, the co-writer and producer, Will Smith, was also responsible for much of the movie's direction. And apparently, M. Night Shyamalan was mostly camera operator. Like, he was just like, well, this is how we'd shoot. Like, he just did blocking, like, where to put the camera for the best shot.
Right.
But Will Smith did all that. This is how you act in this scene. Huh. This is what the story is. This is what yeah.
If that's what you want to call acting, but yes.
But yeah, that's why he's not probably an actor, you know? And, yeah, but M. Night Shyamalan was just like camera placement and color design and stuff like that.
Wow.
And it's reported that Will Smith, I don't know who the fuck reported it, but it has been reported that someone reported it, that Will Smith was the personal acting coach of Jaden Smith and dictated the development of the story and all the, like I said, everything I say, yeah, Will Smith was in charge of everything, blah, blah, blah. But apparently M. Night Shyamalan was like, no, I'll take the blame. It's me. It's all me. And he might have done that because apparently Will Smith personally hired M. Night Shyamalan to direct because Will Smith wanted to work with him for years but couldn't find a project.
Right.
So I guess maybe M. Night Shyamalan was like, well, I mean, I said yes. I could have been like, no, you crazy bastard.
Right, exactly. But, yeah, I was reading somewhere online that Will Smith said that this is the most painful failure he's ever had.
Yeah. Which would make sense considering how much he had to do with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Also, as far as the story goes, like, why, we just saw that they took out 30 minutes worth of story, so that's missing a lot. Also, though, there were several books released for the story. So there was After Earth, After Earth Innocence, which is a comic prequel. There was After Earth United Ranger Corps Survival Manual, which was an illustrated manual that describes the After Earth universe, the history of the United Ranger Corps, and also humans travel away from Earth. Also, it talks about the aliens that just, that they never mention.
Right.
That have the Ursers and all that. Yeah, they're called the Skrell, Skrel. Yeah. It also talks about the ghosting, the Cutlass, and has schematics. It's like a kid's book, like a Star Wars, like, the places of Star Wars, or the schematics of... Well, it's just like, one of those.
Which it really makes me wonder how into it did they think people were that they decided, we're going to release all these books about it and have these manuals that tell you all these little cool secrets and,
That's the thing about Scientology. I think that's, they go, it's not a Scientology film. I go, but you wrote so many books about a franchise that had no success or backing or any, like, you made the movie and the franchise at the same time. That's not how it works. Star Wars didn't come out as a franchise. They made Star Wars. It was really big, and they're like, so we should make some more stuff? Okay, let's, I guess, do a TV show.
Right.
Then another movie. And it snowballs. But these people, they start with a circus instead of, learning how to juggle first.
Right.
And, but that was a lot of the problems it seemed like it was tied to Scientology in a lot of the books. And I have some stuff about Scientology here I want to say. Mostly about Will Smith, which is, apparently Will Smith has been, tied to Scientology because he's never really outright denied any of their teachings, and he donates to their schools and stuff like that. But because in the Wild Wild West one, I was like, he's definitely probably Scientology. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go ahead and defend him and say that he probably also definitely isn't, because while he does donate to Scientology schools, he also donates to Catholic schools, Christian schools, Muslim schools, Jewish. Like, he just seems to think religion's a good idea and donates to that cause in any form. So, if you want to say that that's the reason he's a Scientologist, well, it's not much evidence. I'll just tell you that. What is enough evidence in my book is him going, I don't think Scientology's bad. I think they have a lot of revolutionary ideas and non-religious ideas. You go, okay, dude, that's... I think you need to read it once or twice first. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, stuff about Scientology. The church that he donated, or the school he donated to, uses a Scientology teaching method, which is not really okay. It's like, if kids are yawning, that's the physical sign that they misunderstand a word or concept. Like, it's a lot of stuff you go, no.
No, right, exactly.
Like, literally live 1 year as a human. You'll know that's false. That's not hard to figure out. And they say if you don't understand something, you have to look up in a dictionary, so that there's always dictionaries in the classroom, and it's just a lot of weird, I don't feel like you really thought about what you're saying. The one idea, this is the problem with Scientology, is they say so much stuff, you go, oh, that doesn't seem so bad, and they keep going, you go, oh, but you're crazy, okay, right. Which is one of the ideas is absence of mass, which is they believe that it will help a student to understand a concept if there's a physical representation of it. So, which the example they give is if you're teaching someone trains, having a toy train there is going to help them understand it. Which is why every member of Scientology is required to take sculpting lessons in clay, and they also, where is it here? One of the course requirements for people learning to be Scientology trainers is to model clay in the premise of every paragraph in Ron Hubbard's book Dianetics. You have to make out of clay. You have to summarize a paragraph into a clay idea.
My God.
It's that's everything you hear,
crazy.
you go, That's not a bad idea. But, oh, right, you're fucking crazy.
Right.
Oh, that's why we're not using that idea.
Seriously.
Because you're absolutely batshit. That's the fucking problem, man. All right, so let's go back to the film for a second and ask you, could you make a sequel?
Well, apparently what I wanted to do wasn't a sequel, it was a prequel, but apparently they somewhat already came out with the comics on it, because I would have liked a little bit of a movie more explaining Will Smith's character and the whole concept of ghosting, besides just being like, yeah, here's a one-off on, this guy who did it for the first time. Now let's go to his son and his story regarding it.
Yeah. Like, this definitely, the story of Will Smith learning to ghost is probably the story more so than this one.
Right, exactly.
This should have been the lame sequel that everyone was like, oh, remember that one? That one was a little iffy. And then the third one brought it back, Or,
Right.
So, so that's your concept was already done. You would just,
right, pretty much, yeah.
I went in the opposite direction, which is now Katai is in charge of the Ranger Corps, even though he said he didn't want to do it anymore. He's
That
now
would be interesting.
part of the Ranger Corps, and he's decided that the best way to learn how to ghost is to do the same thing that he and his father did, which you have to fight an Ursa. And you have to get hit with his toxins, and you have to get drowned by as a whole thing. But turns out that the last cadet, when he failed the Ursa mission, but his life signs, they didn't go down. So what? The Ursa's keeping prisoners, or did he go AWOL? What's going on? So they got to go in and find out what's going on with the Ursas, and are the Ursas learning? Maybe the Ursas hunting packs and stuff like that. It's Jurassic Park or something.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's just whatever. I wouldn't make a sequel, but if that's what I would do if I had to.
Right.
So what else do we have? Naked in Math Class. Let's ask some questions. We already answered this one. Yes or no? Take out the space stuff. Better movie?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Without space stuff.
Yeah. All right. I always forget this because Naked in Math Class is supposed to be you're supposed to answer math questions about the movie, and I never ask number-related questions, so we're actually going to get to some math questions now. What % of this movie is flashbacks?
At least a good 40% of it.
You're going to go for... I said at least half because the first 30 minutes of the film is a flashback.
It's technically a flashback. You're right. No, so yeah, it probably is, about a half,
it's at least, and I would guess more, yeah. Okay, so the last question I have is, how many minutes of actual acting was in this film?
2 minutes. 2
minutes? No, it's actually a little more than that. I have anywhere between 8 and 10 minutes. I gave a 2-minute leeway in case I would miss something or something like that. What do we have here? The Ranger teacher had about 15 seconds of screen time. Actually acting. The mom had about 1:45. Roughly, I might have given him more than he actually had. 40 seconds of old one leg standing up, saluting. The Ursa guards on the ship is about a 1-minute-long scene. The 2 pilots, when they were in the asteroid,
right.
It's about 2 minutes worth of that. And then collectively, 2 minutes of the sister, not including all of... Because they flash back to her fighting an Ursa 800 times.
Oh, yeah.
And she doesn't always say lines. So it's, you know what I mean? It's just... She's in the film probably 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. Has 30 seconds worth of lines. It's just flashback.
Which is so interesting because in the flashback that they keep showing where she puts him in the pod thing and tells him not to leave, every time they show it, she doesn't say anything. Not until, though, he mentions how she called out his name and the dad wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then magically, the next flashback, she yells out, "Dad!"
Yeah. Where are we? Yeah, this is fucking... Okay, so, yeah. We were done with this film. Fucking 15 minutes of this shit. So go ahead and join us next time along with Liam Hemsworth, Jeff Goldblum, and Bill Pullman for the 2016 sci-fi action adventure Independence Day Resurgence. Yes, we continue the month of sci-fi blockbusters by not at all busting any blocks anywhere, in any shape or form. No. I heard it was quite disappointing.
Yeah, me too. I didn't even know Liam Hemsworth was in it.
No, I didn't know who the star was at all. Like, I just thought they just put a new guy in there with no name, and they were like, we'll just try it with him.
Yeah, that's what I thought so too.
I don't, but maybe it's like with the last time where I said David Denman is also maybe he's not starring. He's just the most famous person at the time.
That's true.
It's like, I can't even remember what film. I don't know. There's some film where they're like starring this character, and 15 minutes of the film, that character dies. It's like, that's the most famous person in the movie. Now what's going to happen? I think it was Aliens or I don't know, one of those. You know, like, he's the only reason I'm here. Now what happens? Okay, yeah, so again, join us for Independence Day Resurgence. Let's do some plugs and credits. VictorProWrestling.com for Delta. He's not here. He has a show tomorrow. So if this came out and you're listening to it, it's happening right now. Because it's not going to happen. You're not going to get it. So who knows when the next one is. What are we in? June?
Yeah.
Probably the end of August will be the next one. Somewhere around the end of August. I could be wrong. It'll only be a few weeks before he'll tell you himself. But please go to www.ymt.com for all things Why Would You Make This, to listen or download episodes absolutely for free. They're not all on there, because Delta's a little lazy with the website update. But yeah, you can find them on Google Play or iTunes as well. There are also some of our older episodes on YouTube, so you can listen to them there, as well as watch our comedy videos and puppet videos and clips from this show. I keep taking some of the funnier moments, adding some pictures, throwing them up there. It's fun to just like, oh yeah, that was a concept they naturally came to. Right? Like, you remember the old Pilgrim prank show?
No.
That was an idea we naturally came to. That if we invented time travel, what would happen is we would pretend to be pilgrims coming back in from time and go, what's this? I've never seen this before. What's that? What's that? What is this thing? And see how pissed off they'd get before we go, hey, what's that over there? And they go, oh, it's a camera. I'm on a show. There's a 3-minute clip of us naturally thinking out that logically all it was part of a time travel piece where we then decided to go back in time to the prehistoric era and bring lobsters and open up a food restaurant, as opposed to like a book restaurant or like a shoe restaurant, a food restaurant. This clip's like that. Maybe this one will be on there. What's a food restaurant? Well, listen to the clip and you'll find out. Yeah, so again, that's YouTube. Search Why Would You Make This or WWYMT. If you thought we said anything incorrect, or maybe have ideas you'd like to present to us, or think there's a movie that's so awful we need to watch it, you can contact us at facebook.com/Why Would You Make This. Somebody, I should have wrote down his name. I think it was Jonathan something. He said we should watch Soul Man. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
I forgot that was a thing. Yeah, it's a white guy decides that the best way to get a scholarship is to change his pigmentation to a black guy so he can get a black scholarship. Yeah, I don't know when we'll do that, but that's definitely one we'll do. So, yeah. You can contact us on facebook.com/Why Would You Make This, or on Twitter, I am at Time Commander.
At WWYMT.
That's Danny Money. Intro is Falling Off Your Love by Kill Paris. Taking us out today, Danny Money is going to do a spoken word dramatic reading of Rocket Man. Yeah, I didn't tell you about that. That's what you're going to do. So enjoy that. And for Danny Money and Jay Delta, I am Jimmy Time. Please remember that without the mistakes of others, we'd be forced to endure the pain of failure ourselves. Where do you want to start? You want to start from the beginning? Or?
Yeah, I'll start from the beginning. That's fine. She packed my bags last night, pre-flight, 0 hour, 9 a.m. And I'm going to be high as a kite by then.
You don't have to read it like Shatner.
I miss the Earth so much. I miss my wife. It's only out in space. Oh, such a timeless flight. And I think it's going to be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round again. To find I'm not the man I think I am at home. Oh, no, no, no. I'm a rocket man. Rocket man. Burning out his fuse out here alone.
And I think it's going to be a long, long time till touchdown brings me around to find I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh, no, no, no. I'm a rocket man. Rocket man burning up his fuel up here alone. Mars ain't the kind of place to raise your kids. In fact, it's cold as hell. And there's no one there to raise them if you did. And all this science, I don't understand. It's just my job, 5 days a week. A rocket man. A rocket man. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me around again. You'll find
I'm not the man
you think I am at home. Oh, no. No, no.
I'm a rocket man. Rocket man. Burning out his fuse up here alone. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. I think it's gonna be a long, long time.
Man, when you just say the words, it really kind of exposes how lazy songwriting is. Huh. Support the arts. The preceding recording is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed in this podcast do not necessarily represent the views of Why Would You Make This, its owners, employees, or associates.